When you hear the word home, odds are your brain jumps to the same picture. A cozy little house with a couple of bedrooms and a roof that doesn't leak. But not everyone's living situation fits that blueprint. For some people, home is something that straight up breaks the mold of what we think a house should be. These are the 15 strangest places where people actually live. Number Quince, Quintetel de las Bodegas, Spain. There's nothing normal or typical about the way homes are built in Quintetel de las Bodegas. Instead of sitting under rooftops, these Spanish houses exist under massive rock slabs. This small town in Andalusia took a different approach. Built straight into the cliffside, that overhanging rock above many homes. It's not decorative, it's structural, and it provides cool shade during southern Spain's brutal summers. Quintetel is part of Spain's famous Pueblos Blancos, or white villages, with buildings painted bright white to reflect the heat. But what makes this one stand out isn't the color, it's the geology. Walk through its narrow streets and you'll notice restaurants, shops, and houses tucked beneath natural stone ceilings. The inside temperatures remain stable year-round, thanks to the rock's insulation. While it's drawn tourists for years, the people who live here aren't just performers in some travel brochure, they've made this unique setup work for generations. Living under a cliff? It's just part of life here. Number 14. Althing Island. From above, Althing Island looks like something from a Hollywood movie set. Beautiful green cliffs, foggy seas, and one tiny house perched right in the center. Well, it's real though. Located in Iceland's Westman Islands, this isolated spot has been surrounded by myths for decades. People have said it's a billionaire's secret hideout, a celebrity getaway, or a doomsday retreat. None of that is true. The house was built in the 1950s by a local hunting association for puffin hunters to use during the season. That's it. No internet, no permanent residence, and definitely no luxury bunkers. The island itself is hard to reach, and visiting requires special permission. For the most part, it just sits there, a solitary lodge on a sea-wrapped island that's too weird to ignore. There's no power grid, and supplies have to be brought in by boat. It's not a fantasy, it's a relic of a specific lifestyle, one built on tradition, hunting, and complete isolation. Number 3. Ponte Vecchio. Florence's Ponte Vecchio isn't just a bridge, it's a community suspended over the Arno River. Dating back to 1345, this stone archway replaced an earlier version destroyed by a flood. What makes it so distinct is it's lined with buildings, not painted on facades, actual shops and homes. In its early days, the bridge hosted butchers, fishmongers, and tanners, but the stench got so bad that in 1593, a decree booted them all in favor of goldsmiths and jewelers. Since then, it's become a hub for fine jewelry and Renaissance charm. During the rule of the Medici family, a hidden corridor was built above the shops to connect the ruling clan's palaces, keeping them off the streets and out of reach. The bridge somehow dodged destruction in World War II when every other crossing in the city was bombed. It survived centuries of floods, politics, and foot traffic, still standing as a living slice of Florence's layered past, and we hope it stands just like it is today. Number 12. Dina Riverhouse. There's a pretty small house planted on a rock in the middle of Serbia's Drina River. It's not a monument or an art installation, it's an actual house, and its story started back in 1968. A group of friends swam out to the rocky spot and, tired of lying on jagged stone, dragged over some wooden planks. That kicked off an idea: build something better. Over the years, locals brought over more materials by kayak, slowly shaping a one-room shelter on top of the stone. But nature wasn't playing nice. The Drina's strong current has wiped out the house multiple times, but every time it was destroyed, someone rebuilt it, stronger, more solid. That's how this odd little cabin earned its reputation. It's been photographed and filmed thousands of times, but it's never lost its humble roots. No flashy lights, no souvenir shops, and no parties, just a single house, sitting on a rock, quietly refusing to disappear no matter how many floods hit it. Number 11. Hanging Temple of Hangshan. Hanging 246 feet above the ground on a sheer cliff face near Datong, in Shaanxi Province. The Hanging Temple of Hangshan has been clinging to rock for over 1,500 years. It's not nestled in a forest or hidden deep in some forgotten valley. This place is out in the open, just hanging there. Originally built as a place of worship, the temple now attracts tourists by the busload who are blown away by the idea of a structure this delicate-looking, somehow defying gravity. Even cooler, it's the only place in China where Taoism, Buddhism, and Confucianism share one roof, a spiritual crossover that's rarer than it sounds. But while it looks like it's glued to the cliff, the entire structure is supported by massive oak beams fitted into chiseled rock sockets. So yeah, it's old, but it's not going anywhere. Still, maybe don't bounce around too much when you're up there. It's lasted 15 centuries. No need to test its limits on your visit. Alright, now, let's move to number 10, Freedom Cove. Not every home floats in peace, but this one certainly tries, and that's what matters. Built entirely off-grid by artist Catherine King and Wayne Adams, Freedom Cove sits off Vancouver Island's rugged coast in British Columbia. What started in 1992 as a modest idea turned into a full-blown floating ecosystem, solar-powered, greenhouse-equipped, and brightly painted in turquoise and fuchsia. It's part art installation, part homestead, and all self-built. There's no road, no path, and no quick supply run. The only way to reach it is a 45-minute boat ride through open waters. Everything on the floating island, from the gallery space to the small dance floor, was designed by the couple and maintained by hand. While it might look whimsical, the reality is a grind. There's no forgetting the isolation or the physical labor that goes into keeping it together. But for King and Adams, that's the point. They wanted distance from the rush of modern life, and they've built exactly that, one floating plank at a time. So, do what you think makes you happy. Number 9. Matmadar. Well, Matmadar doesn't look like much from above, just scattered holes in the desert. Nothing special or lavish, but peer down and you'll find an entire network of underground homes carved into the earth. These are troglodyte dwellings, and they've existed in southern Tunisia for centuries. Dug into dry, rocky ground, each house has a central sunken courtyard, with chambers branching off like spokes. There was no wood or stone to build within this region, so people went under instead. The thick earth walls keep temperatures stable, which is crucial when the surface swings between freezing and sweltering. Families still live in these homes, though tourism has shifted the town's rhythm. Some have opened their doors to visitors, showing what desert life looks like when built to last. The site also gained attention after being used as a filming location for Star Wars, but that cinematic fame doesn't overshadow its real purpose, staying cool, protected, and rooted in tradition. Matmadar isn't a gimmick, it's home. Number 8. Chong Floating Village. Chong is a floating village near Siem Reap, tucked along Tonle Sap, Southeast Asia's largest freshwater lake. Over 1 million people live on or around this lake, many in houseboats that drift and adjust with the shifting tides. What makes this place so strange isn't just the concept of a town floating on water, it's that entire families build lives, raise kids, and run businesses from boats bobbing over 200 species of fish. The lake itself is a powerhouse of biodiversity and one of the most vital fishing spots on Earth. But life here isn't easy. Tourists flock to peer at the floating lifestyle, but little of the money funnels back to the locals. Chong, in particular, is home to around 1,000 families. While they've built a culture rooted in the water, they're often exploited by boat tours that treat the village more like a human zoo than a functioning community. And yet these families stay adapting, floating, and surviving with quiet resilience. Number 7. Meteora Monasteries. Meteora doesn't feel like it belongs on Earth. Giant rock pillars shoot into the sky in central Greece, and at the top of several of them sit ancient monasteries, like they were placed there by hand. That wasn't the case, of course. It took centuries of human effort to haul stone, supplies, and sheer determination to build these isolated homes of worship. Originally constructed to escape political chaos and provide peace for monks and nuns, these structures weren't just about height, they were about disappearing. Today, 6 monasteries remain active, some still housing religious communities. They've survived wars, weather, and time, and now they're getting a second life thanks to drone photography and travel media. But the scale is something no camera truly captures. Standing at the base, looking up, or standing on top, looking out. Either way, the sensation is the same. You're somewhere that wasn't meant to be reachable, but someone reached it anyway. Now, we don't know about you, but we just love this great place. Number 6. Kasa Dupando. Well, just look at that. Doesn't it feel unreal? Hidden in the Faith Mountains of northern Portugal, Kasa Dupando isn't a typical countryside retreat. Built in 1972 between 4 massive boulders, it looks more like a prehistoric shelter than a modern home. From a distance, it blends into the rocky landscape like it's always been there, and that's part of the charm. The house itself is basic. No electricity, no modern luxuries, and definitely no Instagram-ready interiors. But it drew attention fast. Tourists kept turning up, curious to see the Flintstones house, and the owners eventually gave up trying to live there in peace. What started as a quiet escape became a public curiosity. These days, it operates more like a museum, showcasing its strange construction and local history. Years of vandalism forced upgrades, including bulletproof windows and protective railings. Despite all that, Kasa Dupando stands firm, odd, solid, and completely out of sync with the modern world around it. What do you think about this amazing home? Well, let us know. Number 5. Coober Pedy. Coober Pedy isn't built on the land, it's built under it. Tucked into the South Australian desert, this is one of the only places in the world where the town itself is basically invisible until you dig. And that's exactly the point. Summer here isn't just hot, it's heat stroke waiting to happen. So people burrowed. Originally founded as an opal mining town in 1915, Coober Pedy evolved underground out of pure necessity. Locals live in dugouts, cave-like homes carved directly into the rock, where temperatures stay stable all year long. There are underground churches, shops, and even a bar. Above ground, it looks abandoned, until you spot the chimneys poking out of the dirt. The town's remote, isolated, and tough to reach, a full 8 hours from Adelaide. But the people here didn't come for comfort. They came to work the mines and stayed to carve out a lifestyle no one else could handle. Underground living, it's just how they survive and thrive. Number 4. Al-Hajara. Carved into Yemen's Haraz Mountains, Al-Hajara looks like a medieval fortress dropped into the cliffs. Built in the 12th century, it wasn't designed for beauty or comfort, it was meant to withstand invaders. The tall, narrow houses are stacked close together, stone on stone, with few windows low to the ground. This wasn't an architectural trend, it was survival. During the Ottoman occupation, the village acted as a defensive stronghold. Its buildings rose vertically, blending into the rock and making it nearly impossible to breach. Even now, Al-Hajara looks like it belongs to another time, a maze of stone paths, towers, and interconnected homes, all carved from the mountain itself. What's more impressive, it still functions. People still live here, cook here, and raise families here. While parts of Yemen have changed drastically, this village remains locked in the design principles of its origin, not by choice, but because they work. Nothing flashy, just pure function built into the cliffs. And it's what makes it super amazing. Number 3. Bucharest's underground tunnels. Well, this is just totally insane. Beneath Romania's capital, there's a hidden world most tourists never see, a sewer system turned survival space. After the fall of the Soviet Union, Romania shut down many of its orphanages. Thousands of kids were left to fend for themselves. With nowhere else to go, they went underground. Literally. That's how this network of tunnels, originally built for water and heating infrastructure, turned into a home for the city's forgotten. Some of those children never left. Now adults, they share the tunnels with a new generation, many facing addiction, poverty, and total neglect. The living conditions are grim: darkness, damp air, makeshift shelters, and barely any medical support. One small charity provides occasional aid, but government help is virtually non-existent. These people aren't ghosts or rumors. They're real, and they live just below the surface of a major European city. While life moves above at full speed, hundreds below struggle just to make it through another day. Number 2. Cliff Village. Atelier is the name of this mountain-hugging village in Sichuan, China. It's built on a cliff, not near one, not below one, on one. The community sits 2,600 feet above the valley floor, with residents who once scaled hand-tied rattan ladders daily just to reach their homes. For years, this place was practically invisible to the rest of China. That changed when photos of children climbing those vertical ladders went viral. The government finally stepped in, and in 2016, a steel ladder with over 2,500 steps replaced the worn, dangerous paths. Life here is still tough. Supplies must be hauled up. Access to education and healthcare remains a challenge. But families haven't abandoned the mountain. They've adapted, and some run small guest houses for tourists curious enough to visit. It's become a popular selfie spot, but make no mistake, this isn't a travel stunt. For the people living here, scaling cliffs isn't an adventure. It's how they get home. Number 1. Holstat. Holstat is a picture-perfect Austrian village. So naturally, China built an exact replica of it, located in Guangdong province. This clone of the original European town is so detailed, it's hard to tell it's not the real thing. It has the same pastel buildings, the same spire, and even the same layout. The project launched in 2012, aimed at wealthy buyers who couldn't snag property in the original. The result? A strange blend of luxury real estate and cultural cosplay. But this isn't a one-off. China's done this before. From fake Eiffel Towers to Venice canals, architectural cloning is almost a genre there. Holstat's original is a UNESCO World Heritage Site with centuries of history. This one's shiny and new, but it still draws crowds, both residents and tourists. It's weird, sure, but it's not empty. People do live here. Whether that makes it surreal or just another real estate move depends on how comfortable you are living inside someone else's idea of Europe. If you've enjoyed watching this video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more amazing content like this. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you soon.